So we are back to technical topics, and we have decided, hot or not, we are going to do data center networking. Right? It's actually hot, but it's still basically okay. And there are many lectures in this series. The first lecture that we will have today is about topology. So what we will talk about is 5 things: how the data centers are physically put together, what the network topologies are, what is TOR versus OR, EOR, TOR versus EOR, whatever. Data center, what are the issues and what are the requirements. 5 parts. Again, Google comes to our help. They have published all the data centers pictures very nicely. They even have a street view of Google data center. You can go and walk in from your computer and take a look at different rooms in their data centers. Not centers, one center. So basically, I took some of the pictures from their thing. So here's how the data center looks like. Interesting thing to see is that there is a lot of wiring. I think you guys can see it better than I can see from here on the screen. These trays are the ones that are carrying all the wiring, all the cabling. And then there are computers below. This might be one of the older designs, because I will show you some newer designs in a minute. But they are big rooms. And bigger than this is the room next door, which is cooling. So all of these computers produce a lot of heat, which has to be taken out. So the thing that you don't see when you go to a data center is this part. These are all pipes which are carrying different kinds of airs and temperatures and things like that, pumping in. It's like any building. If you take a tour of, let's say, a new building that we have, and I just once took a tour of the Brower Hall, which is one of our new buildings. If you go to the basement, they will show you, it looks like this. It looks like this basically. A lot of cooling, heating, this, that we don't see in the classrooms. I'm sure this building has somewhere heating, cooling. But this is a big part of the expense and big part of the thing that people design, but we are not going to do that because we are networking guys, not the heating, cooling guys. Okay, so at most what we can do is we can design protocols that produce less heat. And we will do that towards the end if there is a time. So, because the data centers have to be updated so often, because the technology goes bad so fast, what the companies who sell data center equipment have done is they have designed modules that you can buy the whole module. It has everything inside, including the racks, the computers, the heating, the cooling, and everything else. You just put it on the LAN and you have a data center. Of course, you have to get the power supply and you have to get the water supply, other things connected to it. So this is how it looks like. Ice cube. And this is, ice cube is actually not as small as it says. It's not like ice cube, it's really big, but that's what it looks like. A small one would need less than 1 megawatt of power. It will have 4 racks. Medium one will have 10 racks and take 1 to 4 megawatt, and the large one will have 20 racks with 4 megawatts, more than 4 megawatts. It has everything that you need, so as a computer scientist, you can just put the order through and you have a data center. You don't have to worry about the rest of this stuff. Of course, you have to connect it. And the way they measure these things, the efficiency is by PUE, power usage efficiency, effectiveness, which in this case is 1.02. That means that if you need 100 watts to run the computer, all you need is 102 watts from the outside, because there is a lot of energy is spent just in the heating and the cooling equipment running. Running those equipment, moving the air, running the fans, all of that is only 2%. Right? So this is very good. So PUE is the input power in to the power used. Really used for computing, not power used for fans. Understand the difference? Right? And so that is 1.02, and then you can use it anytime. And the good thing is that they come in all sizes and shapes. And here is a bigger one. Yeah, so it just might be historical. I thought the same way as to why don't we just measure the efficiency, say 98% rather than 1.02. Efficiency everybody knows. And when they said PUE, first I thought it is power efficiency, but efficiency cannot be more than 1, right? So they just came up with effectiveness. Whoever in the in the heating cooling department decided this. So this is not a networking invention. All right. So the thing is, you can get big one, and then inside they look like a data center. Basically, they have racks and cooling and everything else, big ones. And then this is how the new data centers look like. You just put them one next to each other, and you have as much as you need right now. And then next month you can have as much as you need next month, and next month you can have as much as you need month after that. So this makes it very easy to take out things and put new things, and so on and so forth. And every company that makes data center equipment, almost every company, let me put it this way, because every time I use a straight word like that, you will find one company which doesn't do it. So almost every company that makes data center, and I found Cisco does it, IBM does it, SGI does it, Sun, Oracle, they all make these modules. So, and I noticed them. I don't have a picture of here for Google because I already have this other picture, but Google's data center also look like this. So I'm sure they use it quite a bit, but I'm surprised that Google uses quite a bit of this, because I was thinking that Google probably designs its own data centers, but I may be wrong on that. So this is something that is done, right? And by the way, notice that every slide has references at the bottom, and the references have URLs which are clickable. So if you download a PDF of this lecture, which you can go and download from the website, from the course website, you just click on it and it will take you to the page. So anyway, so this is how the data centers are made. Now we talk about cabling. We come to the networking part of it. This is not very good to look at, but some places the cabling does look like this, or looked like this at least before. Right? At least in the top of on the attic of my house, this is how it looks like. Okay? I can't figure out which cable is coming from where and going where. Right? And so what they want to do is more like this, where every cable is numbered and pretty well done. This is called structured wiring, and that is what the norm is today. Everything is very well structured, and you can figure out where it is coming from, where it is going, by looking at the cable and things like that. And the equipment actually looks much neater. So here is you can see the rack. In the back of the rack, they have the cables, which might be even color coded and things like that, and they are very neatly arranged. They are very neatly arranged. Some of the cables, after they come out of the rack, they go to the top, and in the top there are 3 layers. You can see 3 layers. The top layer is, bottom layer is signaling, middle layer is power, and top layer is fiber. So what is signaling? Signaling is Ethernet. Basically your Ethernet signals go through the bottom layer. And then next is power, and the top layer is fiber. And I really don't know why the order is this, but this is how it is right now. I can imagine that the Ethernet, I would have thought that the Ethernet would be far away from power as much as you can, but they are very close to each other, middle and bottom. Right. So it is, the thing is, I am not sure this order as to why this order was selected, but it is quite possible that this came later and they just created a new layer. But don't take my word for it. Okay? And then there is wiring, cabling also under the floor. Okay? Some places they would prefer, you don't need to have both. Some places they would prefer to have under the floor, and most of these floors are false floors, as you can see there, for heating and cooling regions. So these floors, you can see there are holes in the tiles. Those are blowing airs. And underneath those tiles you might see figure like this, where there are some more cables, or some cables, the cable coming to these racks. Then the data center itself has a certain standard layout. At one place they will have lots of power supplies. This is the place where everything comes in, The next to that is the telecommunication, where the outside lines come in, and then next to that is cooling system, and then there are these hot, cold, and aisles and so on and so forth. Now, why these things are at different places is not actually our business to know. I mean, basically, I really don't care, but I just want to let you know that there is a standard for all this, and this is how they are put together. And the standard is called ANSI TIA 942-2005. All right. So ANSI is American National Standards Institute. TIA is Telecommunication Institute of America. Telecommunication Industry Association. Sorry, it is Telecommunication Industry Association. Telecommunication Industry Association. So TIA. So basically, TIA put together this standard, and then ANSI approved it. So ANSI is American National Standards Institute, which does everything, and TIA is only interested in telecommunications. So that's how it is. 2005 is the year, obviously, and TIA 942 is the standard, and there might be other similar standards that if you go to TIA website, you can find them. But basically, what they do is they want you to, they recommend that you set up your data center like this, where you have the entrance room, where your lots of access providers are the carriers, are the companies like AT&T, Verizon, who provide networking. Their cables come in, and then so that is the entrance room. From there, basically you come into the computer room. And then next to computer room you have these telecom room, and I think the telecom room might be more like voice telecom, but the data is coming through here. And then in the computer room, what you do is you divide into many different areas. So first there is MDA, which is the main distribution area. From there you go to horizontal distribution areas, HDAs, and from there you go to equipment distribution areas. So what it is if you go back to the previous picture, the first few things here might be simply patch panels. Actually, there used to be patch panels before, but I'm sure by now they are all automated, so you can change things remotely. But in my days, or in some days ago, basically you went and plugged it in. So that is what distribution area means. Okay. So there is MDA, main distribution area, and then horizontal distribution area, and then the equipment distribution area. Equipment distribution area is basically the racks. Okay. And to get to the rack, you go through the horizontal distribution area. Now there is GDA. GDA is zone distribution area, but basically you have to divide an area into different zones, and whatever that zone means, then there is a distribution area there for that. But we see two words here. One is TOR, T-O-R, and then one we see EOR. Right here, EOR. Those I will explain in the next slide. All right. So the summary of this slide is that the distribution is 3 levels: main, horizontal, and equipment. So zone is optional between HDA and EDA. That's all it says. But so we don't know. And then a backbone cabling is the connection between the HDA, MDA, and all those. Those are basically the backbone cabling. So these cables are backbone cables. These cables. So in the in the ANSI standard, they have zone distribution area. The slide showed main distribution area. From there you go to horizontal. From horizontal you can go either directly to equipment or you go to the zone. And so the question was, what is a zone? And this is totally optional. Basically you can combine a group of equipment as a zone for whatever reason you want to do. So there is no strict definition of zone, it's just a group. And so for example, if you define this as a zone, a group of equipments, these are the racks, and you can put that all of them as a zone. So you go from some place to the zone distribution area, which is right there, and then from there you go to each of these equipments. So zone distribution area is in the middle, as opposed to you would have come to all of these. So it's very similar to the idea of top of the rack versus end of the rack. It's just that if you have a zone in the middle, then it minimizes some wiring, and then you can go from zone to the equipment much shorter cable. So this is just the optional part of that.